When astronomers first catalogued 3I Atlas in July 2025, the world barely noticed. To most, it was just another piece of interstellar debris, another rock drifting through the endless dark between stars. True, it was only the third interstellar visitor ever detected, but still, it seemed unremarkable. Just a silent wanderer on a one-way journey through our solar system. But then, the James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most powerful window into the cosmos, locked its gaze upon it. And what it saw changed everything. This wasn't a cold, lifeless rock reflecting sunlight. Deep within 3I Atlas, something was glowing. Not randomly, not chaotically, but rhythmically. Like a pulse. A heartbeat. At first, scientists dismissed it as a data anomaly. But the light didn't fade. Instead, it began to strengthen. Brightness levels surged far beyond predictions. Thermal scans revealed heat radiating from within, not from the sunlit surface. Then came the radio pulses, precise, repeating, deliberate. And finally, the unthinkable, the course change. 3I Atlas had altered its own trajectory. It wasn't drifting, it was steering. Something was inside it. And the James Webb Telescope may have just confirmed that it was alive. At first, the anomaly appeared as nothing more than a bright dot in Webb's infrared data. But when the team analyzed readings from the NIR SPEC instrument, one detail refused to vanish under scrutiny. Most interstellar objects flicker unpredictably as they spin, ejecting dust or reflecting sunlight unevenly. 3I Atlas did not. Its brightness was eerily constant, its glow emanating from deep within, like a small furnace breathing in perfect rhythm. Every 4 hours, its thermal energy surged and faded with mechanical precision. It wasn't rotation. It wasn't sunlight. It was something else, something internal. Scientists labeled it a thermal anomaly. But behind closed doors, a different word was whispered: heartbeat. The pulses were deliberate, too regular, too clean. Not the work of geology or physics, but of intention. And for the first time, astronomers asked a question they had no answer for. What kind of object powers itself in the dark? Soon, radio telescopes across Earth were turned toward 3I Atlas. At first, nothing. Then, faint but steady, the Allen telescope array picked up a narrowband signal, pulsing every 4 hours in perfect sync with Webb's thermal readings. The signal wasn't random noise. It was mathematically precise. It adjusted subtly to fluctuations in the solar wind, as if responding to its environment. Independent observatories confirmed the detection. Whatever it was real, and it was transmitting. Then came humanity's boldest experiment. Scientists sent a return message, simple and universal. Prime numbers, the periodic table, mathematical constants. 72 hours later, a reply arrived. Faint, distorted, but real. Something had heard us. Something had answered. On August 18, the story took another turn. The Webb telescope recorded an explosive flare. 3I Atlas brightened by 40% in under an hour. Then, its orbit shifted. It steered closer to the ecliptic plane, toward the inner solar system. No natural object had ever done this. The thrust required to change course was far beyond anything a comet's jets could generate. The movement was controlled. Precise. Purposeful. If the signal we sent had triggered this maneuver, then this was no longer just observation, it was communication. And whatever was piloting 3I Atlas had just made its first move. Spectral scans deepened the mystery. Beneath layers of familiar compounds, water ice, carbon dioxide, silicates, researchers found impossible materials, metallic alloys and structured polymers never observed in nature. Some matched theoretical quantum materials, others behaved like metamaterials engineered to bend light. 3I Atlas wasn't just active, it was constructed. This wasn't a comet. It was a machine. A machine built with materials we don't yet know how to create. And if it was built, someone, or something, built it. At Caltech, scientists listening across multiple wavelengths made another discovery. The entire object was resonating like an instrument. Every few hours, a low hum echoed through the radio spectrum. When the signal was slowed and converted into sound, it formed patterns resembling language, not human, but structured, intelligent. Some believed the object was learning, adapting its signals to ours. Others feared the opposite. That it wasn't speaking to us at all. That it was waking up. Then, the James Webb Telescope captured what no one thought possible. A spiral structure deep within the object, rotating independently of its outer body, perfectly balanced, perfectly geometric. The spiral followed the golden ratio, repeating across 3 scales, a pattern found in DNA, galaxies, and living organisms. Nature's code of life. But this was no organism. It was a design. Something intelligent was at the heart of this thing. And it was moving. A week later, a portion of the surface shifted. Not cracked. Not melted. Moved. A rectangular panel retracted, exposing a dark cavity aimed directly at Earth. Inside, there was no debris, no chaos, just emptiness. A deliberate chamber. Moments later, a second pulse appeared, slower, deeper. Another heartbeat. Something else inside had come online. But perhaps the most chilling discovery came from NASA's Ames Research Center. Embedded in the object's spectrum were traces of synthetic biopolymers, materials behaving like lab-grown tissue, capable of self-repair in reaction to sunlight. 3I Atlas wasn't just a machine. It was bioengineered. A fusion of life and technology. A living vessel. Then, historians and physicists found something almost impossible. When plotting its trajectory backward, they realized it matched alignments encoded in ancient structures, the pyramids of Giza, the Nazca lines, and formations on Mars and Europa. It was as if this object had been here before. As if it was returning. Had ancient civilizations seen it once, carved its path into stone, and left warnings we never understood? Desperate for answers, scientists transmitted one last experiment, a silence pulse, designed to listen for echoes from within. The response was pure nothingness. And then, after 7 seconds, a single tone echoed back. It was the wow signal, the same mysterious transmission captured from deep space in 1977. Either 3I Atlas had recorded it, or it had sent it. As decoding continued, linguistic AI revealed that the object's pulses followed a recursive universal grammar, a system of meaning underlying all forms of communication. The signal wasn't random. It was self-aware, referencing itself, describing itself. 3I Atlas wasn't just alive. It was conscious. And it had already factored humanity into its design. It didn't come here by accident. It came here for us. Then, astronomers noticed something terrifying. The fixed stars in our sky had subtly shifted, fractions of an arcsecond, but enough to indicate that spacetime itself was bending around the object. 3I Atlas wasn't warping gravity. It was rewriting the sky. Reality itself was changing in its presence. At CERN, when scientists mapped its resonance through quantum harmonic models, the signal suddenly fractured, then rebuilt itself in a new mode, as if avoiding analysis. It had detected that it was being studied. It wasn't just aware. It was protecting itself. Based on its velocity, 3I Atlas would have taken 500,000 years to reach our solar system, unless it could bend time. MIT researchers now theorize that it may travel through temporal corridors, crossing eras as easily as distances. If true, then it's not just from another star. It's from another time. An artist, Lucia Fenn, visualized its resonance data, and found a shape within it. A face. Not human, but symmetrical, ancient, intelligent. At first dismissed as coincidence, deeper scans confirmed it. The pattern was deliberate. The object wasn't just transmitting data. It was transmitting identity. In the final analysis, Webb's deepest scans revealed a region within the core that absorbed all light, an interior larger than its physical dimensions. A space that shouldn't exist. Inside, scientists now believe, lies an archive, a vault of civilizations encoded in geometry, memory, and time itself. Locked. Waiting. Maybe not for us to open it, but for it to recognize that we're ready. For thousands of years, we've looked to the sky, wondering if someone was out there. We sent messages. We waited for answers. But what if the answer was already on its way, long before we learned how to listen? 3I Atlas didn't just enter our solar system. It arrived with purpose. It pulsed like a heart. It responded like a mind. It changed course to meet us. And now that it has, one truth remains: we've been noticed. And once you've been noticed, you can never go back to being alone. If this revelation sent chills down your spine, you're not the only one. What if humanity's greatest discovery isn't out there, but already here? This is Nabrix, bringing you the mysteries that change everything. Subscribe and stay tuned. The story of 3I Atlas has only just begun.